So, in a reclined position on your mat, we'll now take the right knee and hug it into our chest, encouraging the upper thigh and hip sort of downward towards the side of our body. So not so much in the middle, but off to the right side a little bit. And hug it in. And as you hug it in, let's have a 2-for-1 special. We'll rotate the ankle in one direction, just to get a little mobility going in the ankles. Trying to relax our back into the mat. Release any tension in our face. Rotating the ankle in the opposite direction. Breathing as we go. And if you feel like on the exhale you want to do a bit of a sigh, nobody's watching, nobody's listening, feel free, it's extra relaxing that way. Bringing the ankle rotation to a gentle stop. Let's straighten the right leg, bring the left leg up into a hug, so knee into our bodies, but encouraging the knee and the leg over more towards the left side of the body. Rotating the ankle in one direction. And the other direction. And slowly coming to a stop. Let's take both the knees in and grab each knee with a hand. So left hand, left knee, right hand, right knee. Let's bring the knees in towards one another and then apart and around. So making circles so that the knees are in opposite directions, moving away from one another. Rotating around, getting a little movement in our hips and lower back, and then slowly moving in the opposite direction. Breathing as you go. And then bringing the knees together to a gentle stop. Still hugging the knees in, let's bring the knees to the left. So as one unit, bring the knees together to the left and have them come down to the ground. If it's a little much for them to be, your knees to be up towards the head part of the mat, you can always slide them down a little bit, and you can have your arms either in a T or in a goalpost position. It doesn't really matter, whatever is comfortable for you. We want to keep our upper back and shoulders on the mat. You can either look straight up at the ceiling, or if you want to look over to the right, you can. And just relax into the pose. And then bringing the knees back to center. You can help them up with your left hand if that makes it easier. And then this time putting the knees as one unit to the right. Adjusting the knees as is comfortable for you, either up towards your head or down further towards your toes area. You can have, if you like, your right hand just gently resting on top of your knees if you want to. And look up at the ceiling or look to the left. And relax into the mat. And then helping the knees up and to the center, hugging the knees in one more time. And then grabbing behind your hamstrings and rolling up to a seated position. Oh, I think someone might be in the waiting room. Hold on. Yeah, oh wait, hold on. There we go. We have a second Lorna Hart joining. Okay. The more the merrier. That's good. All right, cross-legged seat.
That's Allison. She used my link.
Ah, hello, Allison. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Your timing is perfect. We just moved into seated position, so that's great.
Perfect.
All right. So let's get some shoulder rolls going. Just in the concept of releasing some of the tension. We'll bring the shoulders forward and up and back and down. And then as you feel good and comfortable, bring them into circles in one direction at the pace that feels good for you. I have to tell you, I'm so glad you're all here with me today. It's been hectic at work, and this is really good to do some yoga together. And slowly come to stillness. Let's move the shoulders in the opposite direction. Roll things around. Hopefully we're all going to feel nice and loose and relaxed by the time 8 o'clock rolls around. And slowly coming to a stop. Let's show our shoulders and neck a little bit of love. We'll take our right ear and bring it to the right shoulder. If you want, you can lower the left fingertips to the mat. And breathe there. And then we're going to roll the head gently, slowly down and around, taking the left ear to left shoulder. If you want, you can bring those right fingertips to the mat. And then rolling down and to the right. And down and to the left at your own pace, just a few rounds. Kind of loosen and relax things up in there. Breathing through any tension. Of course, easing off if things get like we don't want to ever feel pain. Pain is not good. Pleasantly challenged is where we want to be. And one more time. One more round. Very good. Let's switch our leg position. So if your legs are crossed in one direction, let's recross them in the opposite direction to balance things out. Let's plant our right hand beside our right hip and then take our left arm and sweep it in big circles, like we're playing our 80s power chords. Well, actually, it's not the 80s, but I kind of weirdly think about Nickelback when I do this particular pose. They loved their power chords. And then the opposite direction, get some lovely mobility in the side of the body, in the shoulder, and the left side of the chest. And then slowly bringing the left hand down on the mat beside the left hip. We'll do the same thing with the other arm, the right arm, around in big circles in one direction. It doesn't matter if you're going back or forwards. It doesn't really matter. Wherever you want to go is fine. Just being mindful of how your body feels. If you hear any clicks like I do. And then the opposite direction. And slowly coming to a stop. And one last seated flow. I was kind of in a flowy mood today. Let's do torso rolls. So bringing engaging our belly and bringing our chest forward, across, and leaning back and around like we're kind of stirring a pot with our chest and torso, I suppose. Let's bring some nice, lovely movement, gentle movement into the back, the lower back. Gives our glutes a little massage. And other direction. And taking the opportunity to enjoy the way your body feels as you're moving around. And then gently coming to a stop. Let's move into tabletop position. So in tabletop, alignment is very important to make sure we don't bring excess strain on our joints, our body. So in tabletop, we want to make sure that our fingers are spread so they create a nice stable base, and that our wrists are under our shoulders, our knees are under our hips, and that there's a little micro bend in your elbows. And there might be a little more than a micro bend. I guess it depends on how your body is feeling today, but at least there should be a little micro bend. We never want the joints, in general, we never want the joints to be locked in yoga. And let's start here with some lovely cat-cow, one of my personal favorites. And we're going to do that by dropping our belly, lifting our tail, and lifting our chin and our chest up, and trying to spread across our collarbones as we do that, opening across the chest. And then exhaling, we'll round the spine, tuck the tailbone, push into the hands, and bring chin to chest. Feeling those abs engage. And then dropping the belly. Inhale, lifting the tail, lifting the chest, push into the hands. Looking up. And cat. Tucking the tailbone, chin to chest, engage those abs, push into the hands. And one or two more times at your own pace. Getting some lovely movement into the spine. Engaging the abs, stretching out the shoulder blades. And then when you complete that last cat, let's come to a neutral spine again, tabletop. And from here, let's bring the right foot forward in between the hands and bringing our torso up. So coming to a partial kneeling position, this is called crescent lunge. And we're going to bring the arms up, fingertips towards the sky, palms facing one another, and biceps near the ears. And if you're happy, you can stay here, or if you'd like a little bit something different, you can bring the elbows down, open across the collarbones, and bring the elbows slightly in together for angel wings. Inhaling up, arms to the sky, fingertips to sky, palms facing one another. And then exhale, elbows down, chest nice and open, angel wings. One more time, fingertips up. Inhale. Exhale, angel wings. And then bring the hands down to frame the front foot. From here, let's bring our hips back and straighten, or mostly straighten, the right leg. The hip should be in line with the front of the mat. We're aspiring to have our leg fairly straight with at least a micro bend in the knee, and the foot flex, so toes facing up towards the ceiling. And this right here in half Hanuman as the pose might be enough for you today, and that's cool if that's where you're at. If you'd like to try a little bit more, I'll encourage you on the inhale to lengthen your spine, so imagining that there's a string coming out of the crown of your head and lengthening your spine. Then on the exhale, lowering down over the leg to whatever extent feels good for you today. Good, but pleasantly challenging. And on the inhale, leading with your heart, coming back up. And then let's take the right heel and bring it over to the left side of the mat with the toes facing in towards the center of the mat for an IT band stretch. You can stay here just as you are with your toes strongly, your foot flexed and your toes pointing towards the middle of the mat. And this might be enough for you today, and that's cool if that's the case. If you'd like a little more, again, sort of like last time, we lengthen through the spine, and then on the exhale, lower down over the leg. And this can be an intense stretch, so just breathe and be mindful of how you're feeling. Don't overdo it. Nice deep breaths. And then leading with your heart so you don't compress your spine. Coming back up. Bringing your foot straight out in front of you in half Hanuman again. And then coming back to tabletop. And from here, we're going to take the right foot straight out to the side. So your right foot should be parallel to the right side of your mat, and the outer edge of your foot should be sealed against the mat. So we don't want the foot sort of rolling inward. We want the whole foot sealed up against the floor. And roughly your right foot should be in line with your left knee. And then from here, let's walk our hands forward. All the way to the top of the mat, or as far away to the top of the mat as feels good for you. We want to lengthen our arms straight out in front of us. And we want to keep a little bit of space between our shoulders and our ears. We don't want our shoulders kissing our ears. That's too much. Fingers spread for stability. Breathing into the pose. And then walking your hands up. And let's come to a half kneeling position. So kneeling, but keeping your right foot where it is, foot parallel to the outer edge of the mat. Let's bring our arms into a T. And from here, on the exhale, we're going to tip left hand up and over, and right hand gently resting on the right leg for a nice side body stretch, nice inner right thigh stretch. Trying to avoid your right knee, so we'd rather not put pressure on any joint if we don't have to. So, if your hand can go below the knee, that's great. If it goes above the knee, that's cool too. Try not to have it on the knee. And that was just for me an abundance of caution. And then coming back up to a T. And let's go back into tabletop. Now the other side. Spoiler alert, we're going to do the other side. Let's bring the left foot in between the hands. And then coming up, bringing our torso up, bringing our arms, fingertips to sky, palms facing one another. And in this pose, crescent lunge, we want to imagine almost like someone is lifting us up. It's as if we had someone pulling us up from under our arms. We're lifting our chest up to the sky. We do this to avoid compression on our lower back. And you'll probably, if you lean forward a little bit, you'll feel a nice stretch in your right front hip flexor. And you can stay here if you like, or if you want, you can bring your hands behind you, clasp them behind your glutes. Lengthen, straighten your arms, and open up your chest. And breathe. Don't hold your breath. And try to relax into the pose. Let's bring our hands down to frame our front foot. And from here, let's bring our hips back, straightening the left leg, flexing the left foot, keeping at least a micro bend in the left knee. For half Hanuman, making sure our hips are parallel and square to the top of the mat as best we can. And you can stay here and breathe if this is good for you. If you want a little more, you inhale, lifting up with the heart, and then exhale and coming down over the leg. Breathe. Keeping the hips back, keeping the foot flexed, keeping the leg fairly long. And then inhaling, leading with the heart, coming back up. From here, let's take that left heel over to the right side with the left toes pointing towards the center. IT band stretch, focusing on keeping those toes strongly pointed to the middle of the mat. And staying here if that's where you're good, or lengthening up in your spine on the inhale. And exhaling, coming down over your front leg. Breathing into that sensation all along the outer band of your left leg. I remember the first time I ever did this pose, I was like, holy cow, I can't believe I have something on my outside of my leg that feels like this. Wow, it was very different because we're not used to feeling this. And then leading with your heart, coming back up, heel straight out in front, half Hanuman again. And then let's come back to tabletop. From here, we're going to take the left leg and bring it straight out beside us, left foot parallel to the outer edge of the mat. And then walking our hands to the top of the mat, fingers spread, arms nice and long, trying to keep your knees and hips in line with one another. So you may want to come out of the pose just a little to inspect where things are at. And it may not be perfect, of course, but just to be sort of in the at least general vicinity of hips over knees. Keeping space between your ears and your shoulders. Nice strong arms, trying to keep your head between your biceps and the outer edge of your left foot sealed down. Breathing. And then coming back up, walking your hands back towards you, and then coming up to a kneeling position with keeping your leg out to the side. Your left foot should be roughly in line with your right knee. And then let's take those arms out into a T and tipping to the left. So right arm going up and over, left hand gently resting on the left leg. And what I wanted to mention, I should have mentioned it last time, but we want to keep our shoulder, in this case, right shoulder, be conscious of not rolling forward. We want to roll that shoulder back and open up across the chest. And then coming back up. And then let's come back to tabletop. And we'll do a floor-based balance pose this time around. Sometimes I like to do standing balance pose. Let's do a floor-based one this time. So we'll take our right shin and put it to the right about 45 degrees. So it's almost like a kickstand of a bike. We'll take our left foot and bring it parallel to the back of the mat. And make sure our weight is in our right hand, our right fingers are spread. We have a nice stable base for the right hand, and our right shoulder is over top of our right wrist. And then we're going to take our left hand, our left arm, and extend it straight up to the sky, fingertips to sky. And breathe. Side plank, knee down. If you'd like to stay here, you can. If you'd like, you can engage your abs, kind of like a girdle or a tight belt. And then lift up your left leg so that it's parallel to the floor. And breathe. And then if you want a little bit more, you can bend that left heel in towards your glute and reach back and grab it with your left hand. This is the balance part. Well, I guess the other part's a balance part too, but this is a little bit more of a balance part. And you can have your gaze up towards the ceiling. You can have it directly out in front of you, or you can look down towards the floor. I find if balance is an issue, looking down towards the floor is a good idea. It kind of helps ground you visually. And then releasing the foot, extending that left leg parallel to the floor, left arm straight to the sky, and coming down into tabletop. Now kickstanding the left calf to the left, bringing that right foot parallel to the bottom of the mat, making sure your left wrist is under your left shoulder and that your fingertips are spread, and bringing that right arm straight, fingertips straight up to sky, and breathe. If you'd like, you can engage those abs, pull them in like a belt, and then lift up that right leg parallel to the floor, and breathe. You can look at the ground if that helps with stability. The ground is nice, the ground never moves, right? It just stays in one spot. That's helpful. And if you want, you can bend your knee in towards your glute, not your knee, bend your heel in towards your glute, and grab it with your right foot. And open your chest and breathe. If you want to make this a little more active of a pose, you can kick into your foot, and that kind of, provides a little bit of tension in the legs, and it helps to open up your chest a little bit, creates a bit of a back bend. You don't have to. And then releasing that foot, leg parallel to the ground, fingertips straight to sky, and coming back down to tabletop. From here, let's come onto our belly. Forehead to mat. Adjusting your outfit if it's more comfy. And then putting your hands directly underneath your shoulders. The tops of your feet pressed into the ground and your pelvis pressed into the ground. And with the strength primarily of your back muscles, we're going to peel the chest off the mat and affix your gaze just towards the top of the mat. Not significantly above the top of the mat, but just a little bit. We don't want to crank our neck in an awkward position. We basically want it to be an extension of your spine. Tops of feet into ground, pelvis into ground, and you should be able to lift your hands up and not totally fall down. And gently with control, lower down. From here, let's move the left hand forward, extend it straight up towards the top of your mat. Palm to the floor, pushing into the hand to raise your left underarm a little bit. Let's take your right arm, bring it across your chest, palm facing upward, and then lower everything down. And this is called thread the needle. Lovely way to stretch out the shoulder. You can relax into the ground just as you are, or if you'd like to have a little bit more challenge, you can take the left arm, wrap it around the back of your body, so cross your back, and bring the top of your left hand in and around the area of your right hip. And that's taking the bind, is what they call it in yoga. Anytime you're in a pose and you wrap your arm around the back of your body, it's taking the bind. And just try to relax. If you took the bind, you could unwind and then bring your hand, or left hand to the mat, push into it to bring yourself up, and then coming back down with the hands underneath your shoulders for the moment. From here, let's bring the right hand up straight towards the top of your mat, palm facing down, pushing into that right hand to lift your right underarm up, and then bring the left arm straight across your chest, palm facing up, and lower everything down. Thread the needle other side. If you want to take the bind on this side, you can by bringing that right arm back behind you, wrapping it around your back of the right palm to left hip. And breathe. And soften into the ground. And if you took the bind, it's the time to unwind it and then press your right hand into the mat and left hand, and then come up to hero's pose. And in hero's pose, we're going to sit on our legs. So our tops of our shins are on the ground. We're sitting on top of our heels. Our spine is nice and long, imagining that string from the middle of your head as if it's pulling up to the ceiling. Not aggressively pulling up to the ceiling, but gently pulling up to the ceiling. Shoulders down and away from the ears. Hands on top of the thighs, or if you want them just gently touching the ground beside you, you can do that too. Breathe. And from here, let's come to a kneeling position. Knees about hip width apart. We're going to do a camel preparatory pose. We're not going to do full camel, we'll do preppy camel. We'll take the fists and place them into the small of your back, opening up across your chest and feeling a bit of your shoulder blades coming together. And from here, we'll lift up through the chest, gently lifting through the chest and leaning slightly back, either looking up at the ceiling if your neck feels good doing this. If your neck does not feel good doing this, you can look straight ahead. And then coming up. And let's move to child's pose, which is knees mat width apart, toes together. Walking the hands to the top of the mat and resting your forehead down and your arms down, and just taking a moment to breathe. And just for future reference, especially for people who are new to the class, if you ever find a pose too much, you're not feeling it, it doesn't feel good in your body for whatever reason, in any class at any time, child's pose is always a great option. It's a nice place to go. And then walking the hands back in towards your body and coming to a seat. We're going to move into boat pose. And we have a few variations of boat pose depending on where you're at today. So in boat pose, we're going to sit on our mat with our knees to the sky and our feet on the ground, feet about hip width apart, and holding the backs of your legs, leaning back. So chest nice and broad and open, your back, your shoulder blades are going to feel nice and strong. This is by no means a lazy pose, especially because where we're going to go with it. I mean, you can stay here if you want to stay here. It's totally good. If you'd like a little more, You can bring those shins parallel to the ground. We're engaging our abs a little bit more here. If you want, then you can release your hands and bring them forward at like a 45-degree angle. And then if you want a little more, you can extend the legs straight up and nice and long in front of you. You'll probably feel a little shake in your belly, and lower everything down with control. Feet back to the mat, knees bent, hands under your shoulders, fingertips towards the top of the mat, pointing towards your toes. And then taking those hips and lifting them to the sky for a counter pose, which is reverse tabletop. Breathe. And lifting those hips up, and then gently with control lowering down. And I'm going to turn this way so you can see me a little bit better. Let's now do a fire log pose. So in fire log, we're going to take the left shin and bring it out. Now I've made it a little difficult to explain it to you. Sorry, because I have moved location. I'm going to turn straight facing the top of the mat now. It'll be easier to explain, especially for people who are newer. So we'll put the left shin parallel to the front of the mat. And we'll take the right shin and place it directly on top. So your right heel is on top of your left knee, and your right knee is on top of your left heel. And we're going to flex our feet as much as we can, as is comfortable and pleasantly challenging for you. Nice long spine, crown of the head to the sky, shoulders down and away from your ears. You may just want to stay here, and that's good. If you want a little more challenge, lift up through the heart, extending over the legs. And you may have your hands on the mat. You may walk forward to have your forearms on the mat, or you might come further down if that's accessible for you, keeping those feet flexed and breathing. And yes, you will feel it on your hips for sure. And trying to relax and breathe into that sensation in your hips. And then leading with your heart, coming back up. And from here, let's bring the left leg so that the knee is pointed towards the top center of your mat, and your left foot is basically right beside your heel. Left heel is basically beside your right hip. And that your knees are stacked, and your right foot is right beside your left hip. This is Gomukhasana. That's the name of the pose. And again, we're going to be conscious of our spine, nice and long, crown of head to the sky. And inhale. And then exhaling, coming forward. You can have your hands on the mat and walk them forward a little if you like, and then just relax down to whatever level is comfy for you. And leading with your heart, coming back up. Switching sides, so we're going to have our right shin on the mat, parallel to the front of the mat. Left shin on top, knees and heels, ankles stacked, feet flexed. Fire log, other side. Inhaling, lengthening your spine. And if you'd like, exhaling and just coming forward, either walking your hands forward, forearms, or a little more, whatever is in reach today. And one side may be tighter than the other, like this side's a little more challenging for me. And so if you can't go as far as you did last time, or you're pleasantly surprised and you can go further, then that's just an interesting thing to be aware of. And relax and breathe. Leading with your heart, coming back up. We're going to do Gomukhasana other side. So bringing that right heel beside the left hip, stacking the knees, and then left heel is going to be sort of towards the right hip. Nice long spine opening up across that chest. Enjoying the way it feels for a moment. Inhale and lengthen, and then exhale if you want to, and come over the legs. Relax and breathe into the pose. Back off, of course, if it's too much. It's not a competition at all. And then leading with your heart, coming back up. Let's unwind the legs. And coming back, reclining all the way down onto your back. And knees to the sky. And feet hip width apart. And let's take the knees and just windshield them, wiper them back and forth. To the left, to the right, one direction. And then bringing them to stillness. Let's bring the feet mat width apart, knees together. And from here, let's take the left ankle and cross it over the outer right knee. And bring both legs to the left. You can have your arms out in a T, or you can have them in goalposts. And just relax and breathe into this gentle twist. Focusing on breathing and maybe trying to relax your back into the mat. Bringing the knees back up, feet mat width apart, knees together. We're going to do it on the other side. So right ankle over and touching the outer left knee. And bringing the knees to the right side this time. Arms in a T or goalposts. Enjoying the gentle twist. Trying to relax. Bring the knees up. Feet on the mat, knees pointing to the sky, hip width apart. Let's take the arms and bring the knees up towards our body, arms, hands in between the knees, and then reach for the outer feet. And once you've got the outer feet, then lift the feet up as if you're standing on the ceiling. So soles of the feet are parallel to the ceiling. Your legs are perpendicular to the floor, and you're in happy baby. Pulling on the legs, flattening the back, heels towards the ceiling. So we want to have the heels pointing up towards the sky. Back nice and flat, all the way in contact with the mat. And breathe. You may wish to play a little bit with the pose, like bring one leg up and one leg down and gently rock back and forth, just for fun. That's what a baby would do. That would be kind of fun. Or you can stay as you are. And then releasing the legs, hugging the knees into the chest. Giving them a nice little squeeze. Rock back and forth just a little to massage the back out. And into Shavasana. I may go, just a fair warning, I may go 1 or 2 minutes over time, but Shavasana is worth it. We'll go through Shavasana. We'll start at our face. We started at our toes at the beginning of class. Let's start at the top. Relaxing the face, relaxing the eyes and the jaw. Tip of the tongue on the back of the teeth, on the right in between the front 2 teeth. Your arms are beside your body, long beside your body, but a little bit away from your body, not stuck directly beside it, just comfortably away from your body. Your shoulders are down and away from your ears. Relaxing your chest, relaxing your arms, your hands. Relaxing your belly and your glutes and your abdomen. Relaxing your legs, upper and lower. Relaxing your ankles, feet, and toes. And if maybe you started this class a little bit, who knows, distracted, busy, tense, stressed from your day. And sometimes those feelings can feel pretty big. You maybe just want to remind yourself that the best way to eat an elephant is 1 bite at a time. And spend the time, if you can, taking care of yourself. Even if it's, a brief tensing of your muscles from your feet to your face, or doing a body scan like we just did and going from head to toe and relaxing your body. That can be a very, very helpful tool in challenging times. So with that, let's wiggle our fingers and toes, just a little. And planting our feet on the mat, rolling over to one side, using your arms as a pillow. And then gently pushing up to a seat.